A year ago, I made a video where I raced a snowblower against a front end loader, and it generated a ton of controversy and discussion in the comment section. The blower was faster, by the way. It was so much fun that I wanted to compare something else this year. So in today's video, you're going to see a race between two John Deere 755 compact tractors. One with a 59-inch snowblower and one with a 66-inch snow blade, snow plow. But wait, there's more. Yeah, my unsolicited opinion. I'd like to share my thoughts on the front loader bucket versus blade versus blower. And I want to see if I can be able to pick a winner for myself, or at least score them somehow. Your experiences may vary. Oh, and we'll declare a winner of the race in the blower versus blade competition. But you might be surprised by the results. All right, hopefully you'll stick around and check it out.
Dig Drive DIY.
So in last year's blower versus loader race, the snowblower was clearly a better choice in terms of removing deep snow quickly and efficiently, and the video proved it without question, I think. But that didn't stop a lot of folks from offering up opinions, alternatives, and reasons for why my comparisons were flawed. But hey, I get it. There's an infinite number of scenarios and variables surrounding snow removal, and what might work well for me may not suit your needs. So let's start out by saying there is no way to definitively say one solution is better over another. With that little disclaimer piece being said, we'll get on with it. Last year I tried out this 59-inch snowblower for the first time. There's a couple videos about how I bought this thing really cheap on Marketplace and fixed it all up. So if you're interested, you can go check out those videos. Matter of fact, I buy all of my equipment used, and I fix it up just enough to get the job done. The total sum of what you're going to see here in this video between the two tractors, the blower, the blade, and the front loader bucket is about $8,000. It was all purchased within the last 5 years too. Now, I know stuff is getting more expensive and maybe harder to find, but the idea of price does weigh into our option choices for snow removal equipment. And that's where I'll start with my snow removal scorecard. So cost is my first category to consider. We're going to pick which option of the three choices is the best in my opinion, and that option will receive a number 1. When we're all done with this scorecard, the lowest score will be the winner, like golf. We'll start by assuming you already have a tractor. If there's no loader, then likely the cheapest of our comparisons here will be the snow blade. I'm going to say the next cheapest and easiest to find at a bundled price is a tractor with a loader. Finally, snow blowers, especially new if you had to go buy one, are really expensive. So that would rank third in pricing the way I see it. Next on the scorecard is convenience. How easy is it to switch over to your winter clothes when the time comes? For me, it meant several hours to get my snowblower or blade out of storage and then hooked up to the tractors. If you're using a blower, then most of the time you'll also want some type of cab, increasing the cost and installation time required. Less convenient. The snow blade was pretty easy to install once I got it all figured out, so for convenience I'm going to score the blower as the most inconvenient, the blade second, and the loader is going to be the most convenient because if you already have one, then it's all ready to go. You technically wouldn't need to do anything for snow prep if you just have a loader. Speaking of which, now's a great time to offer up a few thoughts on that. If you own a loader and you live in an area that has light to even moderate snowfalls where you only have to move snow maybe 1 to 5 times in a season, then I think there's a strong argument for just using the loader as your snow removal tool. The loader with some proper ballast can move a lot of snow though. It's good for back dragging drifts out of tight spaces, and given a little extra time, it can do just about anything that a blade can do really. We only had about 3 snow events last year that needed plowed, and only 1 so far this year, and truth be told, I would be way ahead on time invested if I had just used the loader and not fooled around with the other equipment. So the loader is a much more universal, year-round tool that exists for many other reasons. It's the clear winner in terms of versatility of the attachment. I'll score a 2 for the blade because I have used one in the dirt, but the snowblower, that's only going to be for just the snow, I think. When I got the snow blade with the 755, I immediately removed it to sell it because I knew I wasn't likely to use it for snow removal. But, as luck would have it, one of the things I heard most often from last year's blower versus loader video was that I should compare a snow blade to a snowblower. Lots of folks claimed that the blade would be even faster than the blower. Hogwash, I say to that. My first time ever running this blade was this year, and I will say I was impressed with what it could do. I was beginning to see how this could be a good race with the snowblower.
It's kind of impressive. I'm impressed at how much this can push. I'm bogging the engine down. I'm getting a lot of stones though. Cutting a lot of stones up.
Yet I remember from my snow plowing days why I wasn't likely to want to use it on my driveway. We have loose stones on top, and it's been my experience that even with feet or shoes or guides, the snowplow is the most likely tool to move stones from a gravel driveway to the yard, despite how careful you are. And when the ground isn't frozen yet, that's when the sod gets torn up from the blade too. There's a reason they also call it a snow plow. The second best is the loader bucket because I can keep it from digging in, and for me, the blower is the best on gravel because with a proper set of shoes or skis, as I've discovered, you can keep it almost completely out of the gravel all the time. Plus, it doesn't make piles of stone that you need to rake later anyway. Any stones that it eats just get blown off into the horizon.
Well, it's got a fresh new white pair of shoes, but I don't think they'll last very long.
Now, if you're working on concrete or asphalt surfaces, then I think the situation is a little bit different. I would score the blower the best because it can scrape the concrete like a blade, but likely doesn't require a bunch of extra ballast or tire chains, which can damage a nicely surfaced driveway. The snow blade, for me, would be scored second because it has better safety compared to a loader. It's probably got a spring-loaded cutting edge that will help prevent damage, but you're going to need ballast and maybe tire chains. The loader is third because I think you've got the potential for more damage to the property or the loader itself because it doesn't have the built-in safety features that keep you from tearing stuff up. If you're working in tight quarters and you've got somewhere to blow the snow, then the blower wins again for me. I have a tight space between our garage and block building, and the snow blower is my first choice back there. I can think of a lot of other times where the blower will win as long as there's an open spot to blow the snow. Again, your results may vary. Scoring second would be the blade just because it usually has a much smaller footprint. And finally, the loader is last because let's face it, if you've got to work in a tight space with a loader on the tractor, then it can be a pain to maneuver. Speaking of tight spaces, sometimes you don't have room to make big snow piles or you just don't want the big snow piles. This was one of the biggest arguments I heard in favor of the snowblower after the last competition video. The blower is obviously the first choice because of the ability to throw the snow up and away without any piles to deal with later on. The loader comes in second for the ability to stack or carry the snow, and the blade would be the most limited in my mind if you need to get creative with your piles. Alright, I'm getting distracted. You clicked on this video to see a snowblower race a snowblade, so let's get to it.
So here's the blower. 3, 4. Here's the blade.
I had to enlist the help of my dad and brother Nate. I laid out a track with 2 lanes of equal size and distance that was as fairly covered and even as possible.
We got questions in the competition.
You have to get the snow out of your lane. Imagine that the lanes are a driveway. So there can be snow in the center berm. There can be snow on either side in the case of the snow blade because I don't think it'll be able to get rid of it all. Both lanes look pretty even. Now in the last race video, I set it up this way and people couldn't get over the surroundings outside the predetermined track, meaning they claimed I didn't finish the job because they saw more of my driveway or that I didn't push the snow all the way out to the road, etc. Now for this experiment to make sense, you have to imagine that each machine only has to clear what is within the specified lanes and ignore the remainder of the surroundings or what else remains to be done in the driveway. It gets too subjective that way. So once things were laid out, it was time to go racing.
On your mark. Mark, set, go.
Important to note is that this is the first time my dad has driven this tractor with a snowblower, and it's also the first time my brother Nate has ever run that snow blade. Right away you can see how the blade struggles with that first drift, and the blower looks like it won't have any problems. Until I realized that Dad's tractor isn't in four-wheel drive, and that's why he's struggling to push through.
Hey, you're not in four-wheel drive. Okay, and you can lock the differential right here. You can lock the differential by pushing down on that.
So the blower lost quite a bit of valuable time right in the beginning, but once it was locked in, it wouldn't stop again. Also from my last race video, people asked why I backed up with the blower and the bucket rather than turning around. Here I think is a great example of why sometimes it's slower to turn around than just back up. I probably would have just backed up if I were in that blower, but Dad chose to turn around.
Okay. Dad decided to turn around. I don't know if that was the right move.
Further illustrating that everyone has a different approach, and that's fine. So this racetrack isn't perfect, but I think you can tell just from the way they are moving. My brother with the blade is hustling as fast as he can to try to give himself a fighting chance, while Dad in the blower is taking a slow and methodical approach. It was close, but after two different races, I think the clear winner in terms of the time required to remove a moderately heavy snowfall from the same amount of space was the snowblower. But for my test, the snowblade is definitely second and the loader bucket is third. Your results may vary.
Oh, that's good. That was pretty cool though, wasn't it?
Well, I didn't have it four-wheel drive. But
Yeah. You got off to a bad start because you weren't in four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So
But then it hit harder snow, and I had to back up and hit it again. I still think the blade probably won.
the blade did better than I thought it would. I don't know. We might as well clean the rest of it up.
Now, since we've seen all three in action, I want to cover a few other scorecard items that are important to me. The blade scores well in my mind because I'd use it on my concrete. It's quick and easy to maneuver, it's cheaper, and it is fast, but I wouldn't even buy a blade if I already have a loader and only expect smaller, less frequent snowfalls. So the loader wins in that category, with the blade being a close second. The blower, on the other hand, is cumbersome and time-consuming to install for just a few snows a year, and quite frankly, it's expensive if you're not going to use it all the time. So for heavy and frequent snows, I don't think there should be any argument that the blower is the best choice. Most often, folks in the north swear by a snowblower of some sort, whether it's front-mounted or rear. So yeah, the loader scores second to me because of the ability to more easily stack and carry snow, plus more options for front-mounted attachments if need be. A blade would be my last choice if I had to move heavy snow every week and keep it pushed back and out of the way with a compact tractor. Inevitably, someone always mentions wet snow and how blowers are no good in wet snow because they can't throw it. Okay, I hear you, soggy snowfallers. Wet snow can stick in the loader bucket too, so I'll give that a 2 and we'll give a win to the blade for that category. I think that the length of your driveway or how much space you have to clear can play a big factor in which option is best too. The longer the distance, the better suited a blade might be for that, especially if it's hard-packed or paved like a road. But my in-law's long driveway, again, has loose stone on top like mine, so he chose a new snowblower for his tractor, and that makes sense to me. Lastly, the loader is probably a really poor choice for a very long driveway, for obvious reasons. My driveway is kind of like that too, so that makes the loader, fall behind a little bit. This category isn't for everyone, but if you're the type of gent that likes things to look really nice and proper when you're done removing snow, then the blower is the best choice. It's hard to deny it. Personally, the bucket is second for me because I can do a better job with piling in minimal locations, and the blade is third because it will be the most likely to combine stones and dirt and sod into your snow pile mixture. Don't ask me how I know that. Which brings me to my last category. My experience is that the blower will result in the least amount of cleanup in the spring. And again, the bucket is in second place because I can more strategically place my snow piles with any included stones on the existing stones, and the blade or the snowplow is third. Well, that's going to wrap up my scorecard. I want you to remember, these scores don't mean anything. It's just a way to rate the variables and compare these three options against each other. But the winner with the lowest score from the 14 different categories goes to the snowblower. Well, there you have it. I'm the one that scored it, and I don't even necessarily agree with it. If money and time isn't a factor, then the blower is the best choice, because if you get any kind of significant snowfalls, it's a pretty clear winner most of the time. Your results may vary. I do want to keep it around. It is kind of fun. But anyway, let me know in the comments where I'm right or wrong. If you agree, disagree, it's fine by me. I know there's a lot of different situations out there, so maybe you have a better option. I know there's some multi-tool combo kits like a snowblower and a blade combination that was really popular in the discussions from that last video. One thing I want to try that I mentioned just a little bit in passing was the loader mounted snow pusher. I think that would be a good choice for around here. Actually, for me though, when I'm done playing with all the little tractors, I jump in the backhoe when I really want to get stuff done. Well, friends, I want to thank you so much for clicking on this video. If I'm lucky, I will see you on the next one. All right, take it easy on me in the comments, but take care.
Oh my goodness! Can you go get the slide?
What do you gotta make it smooth. It's not that bad. I think you go faster one at a time.
Yeah!